Coming up, a Pittsburgh, Kansas man pleads no contest in relation to child sex crimes.
While our weather remains quiet here, Category 4 Hurricane Ian moving into Florida. Tornado warnings, high winds, storm surge. We're going to break it all down coming up.
And Pittsburgh, Kansas approves a new alcohol treatment center.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Hurricane Ian, just not long ago, about 15 minutes ago, was upgraded to a Category 4 storm just off the coast of Florida right now. It's set to make landfall just north of Fort Myers, and this morning I was checking in on stations in Tampa and Fort Myers. I don't know when, but all of them are now what we call wall-to-wall coverage in the business. It means they are broadcasting nonstop, no commercials, their weather coverage at this point.
Wow.
And I wouldn't be surprised if stations in Orlando, Miami, and maybe even as far as Jacksonville are getting into the game as well, as this is a very dangerous storm. Winds right now on Ian, 140 mile an hour sustained as a Category 4. So here it is, the latest radar image as it is just off the coast of Florida. You can see the eye just southwest of Fort Myers. You can also see those red boxes, tornado warnings. As a matter of fact, these are tornado reports since yesterday. 9 confirmed tornadoes so far in southern Florida. That magenta-ish color is hurricane warnings for most of the peninsula, and then tropical storm warnings surround that, stretching from Jacksonville down to Miami. And this is live coverage from our sister station, a CBS affiliate, WINK-TV in Fort Myers. They've been, again, on the air for I'm not sure how long, but there you can see they're talking about the potential storm surge of 9 feet plus working inwards into Florida. Hurricane Ian, as it stands, 140 mile an hour sustained winds, gust upwards of 160 miles an hour as a Category 4, set to make landfall as such just north of Fort Myers before it tracks across the Florida peninsula. Now on our level, things are clear, they are calm, they are quiet. We've got temperatures a little warmer than yesterday in the mid-50s, even some lower 60s out there. And as we go through the rest of today into the bus stop forecast, 56, clear skies when the kids get on the bus. And we're looking at 77 and clear skies when the bus brings them home. So our afternoon temperature a little cooler than it was yesterday. We'll break down our full forecast, which thankfully compared to Florida is a lot calmer. It's a lot simpler.
Right.
And of course continue to update you on Hurricane Ian as it comes ashore in Florida.
As much as we need the rain here, I'm glad ours is simple. Yes.
Yeah, we do, and we do need rain, and there's some good news on the 10-day forecast for that as well. I mean, it's kind of like what happened last time. We're watching it. It's several days away, but it's looking promising for some rain chances as we head into next week, and we'll talk about that too.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. Pittsburgh man pleads no contest in relation to child sex crimes. 41-year-old Rex Mills was arrested in 2021 and charged with 5 counts each for sexual exploitation of a child and internet trading in child pornography. In July, he pleaded no contest, which means he accepts his conviction but does not admit guilt. As part of a plea deal, 9 of the 10 charges were dropped. Mills is now charged with sexual exploitation of a child under the age of 14. No word yet on the sentence, but it could be up to life imprisonment and a maximum fine of $500,000. Cherokee Nation is renewing its campaign for representation in Congress, calling on federal legislators to honor a treaty the U.S. government made nearly 200 years ago. In a video released last week, the tribal nation reasserted its demand that Congress seat its delegate in the House of Representatives, a right stipulated by the 1835 Treaty of New Echota. Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. with Cherokee Nation said in the video, quote, "For 2 centuries, Congress has failed to honor that promise. However, the Treaty of New Echota has no expiration date. The obligation to seat a Cherokee Nation delegate is as binding today as it was in 1835, end quote. Hoskin tapped Kimberly Teehee as the nation's official representative to Congress. If Teehee were to be seated, her role would likely be similar to other non-voting members of Congress. Though those members cannot vote on the House floor, they can vote in committee, introduce legislation, and engage in debate. Families and Children Together Incorporated are partnering with the Crawford County Mental Health to build a new alcohol treatment center. The group is asking the city of Pittsburgh for $400,000 to complete the funding for the project. The city of Pittsburgh awarded the requested amount to improve the quality of life in the community.
If you can get a healthier individual that's working, they'll go back in the workplace and be more productive. So there's a lot of payoff in a lot of ways, economically, family structure, family health, etc.
The treatment center will be located at the intersection of 30th and Michigan Street. A local realtor says home sales remain strong despite rising interest rates. Columbus, Kansas realtor Becky McDaniel says a lot of people are looking for homes in the area. She says the situation is becoming more balanced as more homes are now being listed as well. She says houses may stay on the market a little longer or they're not selling above the listing price, but a lot of people are still buying because of affordable house prices. McDaniel says a good amount of people come from outside the state.
For the most part, we've got more new people coming in from other states, I must say, than in recent years, probably in the last 2 years.
McDaniel says Kansas is among the 5 cheapest states to buy a house this year. Coming up in our 6 o'clock show, our very own Yana Hatula tells us more about the local housing market. Well, people might change the way they use credit cards as the Federal Reserve raises interest rates. A commercial loan officer from Joplin says as interest rates climb, there may be additional fees. So paying off your credit card balance by the end of the statement would prevent those fees.
I'm no expert as far as being able to tell the future, unfortunately, but I would say we don't feel like rates will go down anytime soon. So just be mindful of that. So if there is an expense that you're looking at, or if there's a purchase that you're looking at, you may, if you can, wait just a little bit or see if you can get by a little bit.
He also says to keep in mind the market goes in cycles. Pittsburgh's gifted middle school students participated in STEM activities at Greenbush in Girard. 6th and 7th graders were in the lab learning the difference between animal and plant cells. They looked at their own cheek cells under a microscope. 8th graders went outside to learn engineering design and problem solving. They worked together to cross the ropes course.
We get to have different grade levels here every day, doing different topics every day. And really just my hope is to inspire kids to love science and be passionate about it so that maybe hopefully they grow up and they want to do something in the field of science.
Greenbush was established in 1976 to help schools, communities, and agencies accomplish more by working together with locations in Girard, Topeka, and Lawrence. To find out more about the classes and workshops Greenbush provides, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com.
All right, quick check as to what we're expecting today. Mostly sunny skies throughout the afternoon and high of 82, so a little cooler than yesterday. Overnight, we're going to drop back down pretty cool, 49 for an overnight low, and the 7-day forecast shows where by Tuesday we start to see some rain chances as we hold on to the 80s for afternoon highs and clear skies, and rain chances continue to build as we head into next week. But unfortunately, so do the temperatures.
20%
for October.
20% isn't very high for rain chances.
It's not very
either.
high, but there's rain chances out there, and again, we're hopeful that they'll increase as we get closer to those days. But as you saw, we're looking at 91 by the middle of next week, and that's October.
Yes,
unusually warm.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, 2 of the best softball teams in the Southwest Missouri area take each other on. We'll have results from that game.
Plus, Mattel makes all kids feel included with their line of new Barbie and Ken dolls, no matter their body type, disability, or skin color.
And how the COVID-19 vaccine affected women's menstrual cycles. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, 2 of the best softball teams in Southwest Missouri met yesterday afternoon in Joplin. Joplin Eagles hit the field at home against Neosho. Neosho enters the day at 17-4, while Joplin is 20-7. Wildcats on the board first. Abby Carpenter, sharp hit to third, gets by and into foul territory here. Here comes Malin Garrett around third. Neosho goes up 4-0 around after the first. Second inning, Jill McDaniel settles in out there in the circle, gets a pair of strikeouts, including this one here to get out of the inning. Stays 4-0 Neosho. Bottom of the third, Eagles threatening with runners on the corners, but look at Malin Garrett at first, snags the liner and tags the bag for the double play to end the inning. Joplin rallies late, but Neosho hangs on, winning a good one, 9-8. The Kansas City Chiefs suffered their first loss of the season on Sunday. Chiefs fell to the Colts 20-17 to slip to 2-1 on the season. This week, Kansas City is back in prime time. The Chiefs will face Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday night. Not a lot went right for Kansas City against the Colts last week. They rushed for just 58 yards. Patrick Mahomes threw his first pick of the season. It was also not a great day for rookie wideout Sky Moore, whose early fumble on a punt return pretty much gave the Colts a free 7 points to begin the game.
Well, Sky's a competitive kid, and he's young. And so some of the things that happened yesterday happened with some young guys, and you've got to I've said that from the get-go. You're going to have a hiccup here or there. You got to get back on the horse, Herbie, and to learn. And he did that. He got back on and did a couple good things in there. So, but he'll be better for it down the road.
Still to come, why the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is warning healthcare providers to keep an eye out for enterovirus D68. Plus, we got the latest on our forecast and Hurricane Ian when the KOAM Morning News returns. Hurricane Ian, a Category 4 hurricane now. It went Category 4 about half an hour ago. These are hurricane warnings in this lighter shade of red for much of the Florida Peninsula. And then in the other shade of red, that dark red, those are tropical storm warnings from Jacksonville down to Miami. These are tornado reports, confirmed tornado reports just since yesterday so far from Hurricane Ian. And Hurricane Ian itself not even on land yet. We are watching coverage out of WINK TV in Fort Myers, the CBS affiliate there. Most stations in Fort Myers and Tampa have been on the air nonstop for the last several hours and most likely will continue to be as Hurricane Ian prepares to make landfall. Latest advisory, winds at 140 miles an hour, which this will update to that there. You can see a very strong, very powerful hurricane. And this is the track. As a Category 4 right now with those 140 mile an hour winds, it will eventually start to turn a little northeasterly and should make landfall this afternoon now, just to the north of Fort Myers. And then it will track across the peninsula and re-enter the Atlantic waters as a tropical storm before it comes ashore again near the Georgia-South Carolina border. So we've got a long, widespread area that could be in trouble when it comes to the flooding, the tornado threat, and those winds, because we're talking 140 mile an hour sustained winds. We're talking gusts up to 160, if not more. Temperatures across the area, 59 Joplin, 55 Fort Scott, 59 Chanute, and 60 in Parsons and Columbus. Allergy outlook, a little bit higher than what it has been, but still not bad. A 6.0 out of 12 today, 5.5 out of 12 tomorrow. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 56, mostly clear. When they get home, not as warm as yesterday, 77, still sunny with a gusty east breeze. As we go through the rest of today, we'll be mostly sunny with a high of 82 degrees, and we'll stay mostly clear again tonight, dropping back down a little cooler though, the low of 49. 7-day forecast, we stay dry all the way through Tuesday. Temperatures stay unseasonably warm, and we start to watch rain chances by next week. Toy maker Mattel is taking another step to diversify its dolls, offering Barbie and Ken with a variety of skin tones, body types, and disabilities. As Ian Lee reports from London, the move is helping kids see themselves in a new light.
I hope you've had a lovely day.
Until recently, 17-year-old James Stewart hid from the world.
I mean, I used to wear jumpers down there, hoods up. I loved COVID with the face mask because I wouldn't show my face.
James has vitiligo, a condition that affects the pigment in his skin. He grew up with it, making him the target of bullies.
I felt quite left out because my hair was turning grey and my skin was changing colour, so I couldn't be like every other kid.
But his shame turned to fame when toy maker Mattel rolled out their new Ken doll with vitiligo.
You can't be alone with this doll. I think it's brilliant.
So you feel seen now?
I think the whole community feels seen now.
Mattel's Fashionista line is Barbie's most diverse and inclusive yet, with more than 175 looks, including dolls in wheelchairs and with prosthetic limbs.
Do we like the new Barbie?
The new Barbies gave 6-year-old Eliza her debut on British TV. She has severe hearing loss and wears pink hearing aids, just like her Barbie.
It gives hope to families like ourselves that our children are going to be included into the world.
While keeping the bullies away.
If you had this doll when you were 11, how do you think that would change your life?
I think it would have made me feel on top of the world, really, especially my confidence and my happiness.
Little dolls that are different, making a big difference in these kids' lives. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Now, Mattel consulted with hearing experts to accurately portray the hearing aids, and kids like Eliza, who you saw in the story, say they love Barbie's cool new accessories. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. How do you feel about diversified Barbie dolls? I like them, don't care for them, or maybe you have no opinion. We want you to vote, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Do so in the app and take part in discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is warning healthcare providers to be on the lookout for enterovirus D68. That's a virus typically seen in children. Problem is, it can sometimes lead to acute flaccid myelitis, or ACM, which sometimes causes paralysis. Researchers are worried by new CDC data that shows a recent increase in cases of acute respiratory illnesses that may be caused in part by D68. It can be difficult to diagnose because even though D68 is an enterovirus, it produces symptoms similar to that of a rhinovirus or the common cold. D68 infections tend to increase every 2 years or so during the late summer. Though D68 is linked to acute flaccid myelitis, the condition is still considered rare. Well, a new study shows concerns about COVID vaccination affecting menstrual cycles are not without merit. Researchers looked at 20,000 women and determined the shot delayed their periods by an average of 0.7 days. That's likely not enough for most women to notice, but when 2 shots were received during a single menstrual cycle, that delay rose to 4 days. The good news is the delay was temporary. Most women resume normal menstruation timing during the following cycle. Scientists also determined the disruption appears to have no impact on fertility. The research did not include women taking birth control or those who had irregular cycles before vaccination. It also relied on self-reported data through the Natural Cycles menstruation tracking app. Nearly 1 in 5 adults who have been infected with coronavirus still have long COVID. That's according to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Those suffering report a wide range of symptoms, but one of the most common is loss of smell. Mandy Gaither has more on how experts say you can retrain your nose to regain smell.
If changes in your sense of smell went along with your COVID-19 infection, you're not alone.
Up to 90% of people had some loss of smell.
Most people get the sense back. A study published in August shows around 90% of people with mild COVID before the Omicron variant who lost taste or smell fully regain the senses within 2 years. Others still suffer. Health experts say the loss of smell isn't because of congestion, but rather a change inside you.
This virus actually affects the cells that are directly responsible for your sense of smell, way up near the base of your skull and the base of your brain. What happens is that not only do you lose your smell, at least initially, but 3 to 4 months later, when these cells are supposed to sort of redivide, you could lose your sense of smell again.
Health experts say you can retrain your nose to regain your sense of smell, and these 4 scents can help: rose, eucalyptus, clove, and lemon.
Use your nose to smell these scents over and over again. You can slowly potentially start to regain some of that smell over time.
A research article published earlier this year suggests essential oils with those scents may help a person recover the sense of smell by stopping inflammation and helping cells regenerate.
Researchers say other essential oils that are known to have anti-inflammatory effects may also help with smell recovery as well. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
All right, we are very calm here in the 4 states and are going to remain that way for the next several days. Kids getting on the bus, a bit warmer than yesterday, 56, mostly clear. But what's interesting, even though we're warmer this morning, not as warm this afternoon, 77 when they get off the bus with a gusty east wind. And as we go through today, again, not as warm. We're still unseasonably warm, don't get me wrong. Just not as warm as we were yesterday. 82, mostly sunny skies. We'll stay mostly clear heading into tonight, and we'll drop back down a little cooler than last night, back down to 49 for an overnight low. As we head into the weekend, we're looking at 85 Saturday, 86 on Sunday. A few more clouds Saturday, still unseasonably warm and staying dry. On the 7-day, though, as you see, we remain dry as we head through the rest of the week into the weekend. But starting Tuesday, we look at rain chances, and as we look at the 10-day, a few more. They're low chances now, but we're hoping these will increase. The only problem is temperatures increase as well. 91 next Friday in the first full week of October. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, a Pittsburgh, Kansas man pleads no contest in relation to child sex crimes.
Dry and warm in the 4 states, but we're watching Category 4 Hurricane Ian as it tracks into Florida. The latest coming up.
And Pittsburgh city leaders approve of a new alcohol treatment center.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we are tracking Hurricane Ian, and now a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 140 miles an hour. We're talking gusts upwards of 160, and is just off the coast of Florida. Right now, as you can see on this map, the lighter red color, those are hurricane warnings, and that dark red color are tropical storm warnings, and they extend all the way from Jacksonville to Miami. You can also see a number of tornado reports from Hurricane Ian so far just since yesterday. We've also been watching the live coverage from Wink TV in Fort Myers. Most stations in Fort Myers and Tampa have been continuous coverage for the last several hours and likely will continue to do so as Hurricane Ian gets closer to landfall. Now, here's where it stands right now. Again, winds at 140 miles an hour, moving north-northeast at 10. It's starting to make that right turn. And as it does so, it's set to make landfall later this afternoon as a Category 4 storm just to the northwest of Fort Myers. Then it'll eventually track across the panhandle of Florida, and then, or the peninsula rather, Florida, and then it will track back over the Atlantic and make landfall again around the Georgia-South Carolina border as a tropical storm. Here locally, things are clear. They're quiet. The Joplin Regional Airport, for some reason, not reporting current conditions right now, but that's all right. Other sites saying it's 60 in Joplin, 55 in Fort Scott, 59 Pittsburgh, 63 Independence, and 58 in Miami. Allergy sufferers, a little bit of good news. Numbers are up a bit, but they're going to go back down. 6.0 out of 12 today, 5.5 out of 12 tomorrow. Kids get on the bus, a little warmer than it was yesterday, 56, mostly clear. Gusty east breeze this afternoon, 77 when the bus brings them home. Heading for an afternoon high of 82 degrees under mostly sunny skies, and as we head into tonight, we'll remain mostly clear with an overnight low of 49. We're going to take a look at the 7-day forecast here in a few minutes and talk about some slight rain chances that we're hoping will increase in the next several days.
All right, got those rain chances coming in. We like that.
That's
good news.
We absolutely need the rain, and we've got some hopefully on the way.
I wish we could take some buckets down to Florida and gather some up too.
That would not necessarily be a bad idea because we're in extreme drought conditions for a good chunk of the area right now. So any rain will help.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, folks might change the way they use credit cards as the Federal Reserve raises interest rates. A commercial loan officer from Joplin says as interest rates climb, there may be additional fees. So paying off your credit card balance by the end of the statement would prevent those fees.
I'm no expert as far as being able to tell the future, unfortunately, but I would say we don't feel like rates will go down anytime soon. So just be mindful of that. So if there is an expense that you're looking at, or if there's a purchase that you're looking at, you may, if you can, wait just a little bit or see if you can get by a little bit.
He also says to keep in mind the market goes in cycles. Pittsburgh's gifted middle school students on Tuesday participated in STEM activities at Greenbush in Girard. 6th and 7th graders were in the lab learning the difference between animal and plant cells. They looked at their own cheek cells under a microscope. 8th graders went outside to learn engineering design and problem solving. They worked together to cross a ropes course.
Greenbush offers these enrichment programs, and so, you know, our science programs at our schools are wonderful, but this is a way for our students to kind of take a step and go and use the, you know, the kind of educational skills that they've learned, the concepts that they've gotten in the classroom.
Greenbush was established in 1976 to help schools, communities, and agencies accomplish more by working together with locations in Girard, Topeka, and Lawrence. To find out more about the classes and workshops Greenbush provides, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Pittsburgh could get a new alcohol treatment center. The city agreed to contribute $400,000 to the project. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Families and Children Together Incorporated are partnering with Crawford County Mental Health to build a new alcohol treatment center in Pittsburgh. Helping one person with recovery also helps the entire community.
It has a ripple effect. One person enters recovery, it affects a family. The family gets better, etc. It rolls out in the other direction as opposed to the negative direction of addiction.
This treatment center goal is to produce productive citizens for the community.
If you can get a healthier individual that's working, they'll go back in the workplace and be more productive. So there's a lot of payoff in a lot of ways, economically, family structure, family health.
The project costs $6.4 million. They're asking the city of Pittsburgh for the last $400,000 to finally complete the project.
Yes, we're very appreciative of the city of Pittsburgh and look at it as an investment, and we're very grateful for their generosity in supporting the project.
The center will also offer experience opportunity for social work students.
And then also partnering with the Pitt State Psychology Department and the Social Work Department in providing students of interest that want to work in mental health or addiction to do their practicums and internships with us.
Commissioners for the city are excited to see the impact of a new treatment center.
It's a much needed facility in this area, and it's going to bring a lot of jobs here. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to benefit from this facility, and I'm so excited, as well as the fellow commissioners, for them to hit the ground running and start building.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Treatment center will be at the intersection of 30th and Michigan Street. Well, this morning we're discussing diversified Barbie dolls.
Now, Mattel, the maker of Barbie, is making everyone feel included with their latest line of Barbie dolls. They're offering Barbie and Ken with a variety of skin tones, body types, and disabilities. This move, go ahead.
This move by Mattel helps make kids see themselves in a different light, from making kids with vitiligo, I think that's how you say it, a condition that affects a pigment in their skin, feel like they're not alone, to making kids with hearing aids feel seen and heard.
The dolls have more than 175 looks, including dolls in wheelchairs and with prosthetic limbs. These little dolls, being different, make a big difference in kids' lives who have always been seen as different due to their disabilities, skin color, or body types. And that brings us to our question for you today. How do you feel about having diversified Barbie dolls? Do you like them, you don't care for them, or you don't have any opinion? So far, 60% of you say you like them. 40% of you say you don't really have an opinion one way or the other. Make sure you vote through our website, through our app. Of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
I remember running a story a while back about a mother who made dolls with hearing aids because of her daughter. And it's nice to see that Barbie's jumping on board with that too.
Yeah, Mattel's jumping on board and getting in the game and just adding to their line out there. So something we're adding to our line, hopefully some rain chances. 7-day forecast, we're 80 tomorrow, 84 on Friday, warming up through the weekend. Rain chances Tuesday, and then we really warm up next week. High 91 Friday, but you can also see we still have some isolated rain chances, and hopefully those rain chances will continue to increase as we get closer to next week.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, from Michael Myers to a movie about Emmett Till. We'll take a sneak peek at what movies are coming this October.
Plus, protests in Iran over women's rights in the country continue on as the UN calls for internet access to be restored alongside an investigation into the death of the woman that sparked it all. On the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, the death of an Iranian woman who died after being detained by Iran's morality police sparked protest across Iran and the globe. Concerned about the escalating violence on the streets of Iran, the UN's Humanitarian Rights Office issues multiple warnings for Iranian authorities on Tuesday. Greg Palcott has details.
Continued unrest as Iranian police and security forces clash with protesters following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. The circumstances of her death galvanizing women across the country The show of opposition playing out in the streets is unlike anything Iran has seen in years. Dozens have been killed, many others injured, over 1,000 arrested. United Nations Human Rights Office on Tuesday condemning the response by Iranian authorities, pointing to a disproportionate use of force, with some officers reportedly firing on demonstrators.
We are extremely concerned by the apparent unnecessary and disproportionate use of force against protesters. Firearms must never be used simply to disperse an assembly.
Thousands have joined the demonstrations since Amini's September 13th detainment by the morality police for allegedly improperly wearing a headscarf. She died later in police custody. Officials claim she had a heart attack and deny allegations of any torture.
Asa should be alive today. The only reason she's not is because a brutal regime took her life.
Amini's death igniting solidarity protests in Europe, the U.S., and in parts of the Middle East. The unrest is playing out globally on social media, but Iranian authorities have restricted access to the internet.
This undermines numerous human rights, notably the right to freedom of expression. We call on the authorities to fully restore internet access.
The show of opposition.
UN Human Rights Office is also calling for a quick and impartial investigation into Amini's death. That's a look at one of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We're continuing to track Category 4 Hurricane Ian as it rolls toward Florida this morning, just southwest of Fort Myers. Now you can see we've got hurricane warnings in this shade of red, tropical storm warnings from Jacksonville to Miami in that shade of red. And these are all the confirmed tornado reports out of Florida since last night, and more expected as we head through the day. Live coverage out of Wink TV in Fort Myers, and this is just one of their cameras that they're looking at right now. TV stations down there have been on air for the last several hours in Fort Myers and in Tampa as the hurricane continues to approach. And so you can see, I mean, just look at these images. You can see how strong the wind is down there. As a Category 4, the winds are at, okay, we have a new update. Hold on, let this recycle. Okay, sustained winds now at 155 miles an hour in Hurricane Ian right now as it continues to track off toward Florida. So here's where it is. Again, those winds now 155 miles an hour. Strong Category 4 set to make landfall later this afternoon just to the northwest of Fort Myers as it'll track across the Florida Peninsula, re-enter the Atlantic, and then return to shore as a tropical storm around South Carolina and Georgia. Now on the local level, we are clear. 7th and Rangeline looking pretty good this morning. 59 Joplin, 55 Fort Scott, 59 in Carthage, and 56 in Miami. Kids getting on the bus this morning. A little bit warmer than it was yesterday. 56, mostly clear skies with a light east breeze. That east breeze gets a little gusty this afternoon. 77, mostly clear by 3 o'clock. And later today, we're heading for an afternoon high of 82, so a few degrees cooler than yesterday, but still unseasonably warm. Mostly sunny skies otherwise. We also remain mostly clear as we head into tonight. Not mostly sunny, just mostly clear. It'd be strange if we were mostly sunny tonight. 49 for the overnight low, and the 7-day forecast shows us where we stay warm, we stay unseasonably warm, heading through the rest of the week into the weekend, and then by Tuesday, we're watching some rain chances that we're hoping will increase as we get closer to the start of next week. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Cherokee Nation is renewing its campaign for representation in Congress, calling on federal lawmakers to honor a treaty the U.S. government made nearly 200 years ago. In a video released last week, the tribal nation reasserted its demand that Congress seat its delegate in the House of Representatives, a right stipulated by the 1835 Treaty of New Echota. Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. with the Cherokee Nation said in the video, quote, "For 2 centuries, Congress has failed to honor that promise. However, the Treaty of New Echota has no expiration date. The obligation to seat a Cherokee Nation delegate is as binding today as it was in 1835, end quote. Hoskin tapped Kimberly Teehee as the nation's official representative to Congress. If Teehee were to be seated, her role would be likely similar to other non-voting members of Congress. Though those members cannot vote on the House floor, they can vote in committee, introduce legislation, and engage in debate. A reminder, the voter registration deadline for the November elections is coming up in 3 weeks. In Missouri, the deadline is October 12th. The Oklahoma deadline is October 14th, and the Kansas deadline is October 18th. A Pittsburgh, Kansas man is sentenced for child sex crimes. 41-year-old Rex Mills was arrested in 2021 and charged with 5 counts each for sexual exploitation of a child and internet trading in child pornography. In July, he pleaded no contest, which means he accepts his conviction but does not admit guilt. As part of a plea deal, 9 of the 10 charges were dropped. Mill is now charged with sexual exploitation of a child under the age of 14. No word yet on the sentence, but it could be up to life imprisonment and a maximum fine of $500,000. Pittsburgh's gifted middle school students on Tuesday participate in STEM activities at Greenbush in Girard. 6th and 7th graders were in the lab learning the difference between animal and plant cells. They looked at their own cheek cells under a microscope. 8th graders went outside to learn engineering, design, and problem solving. They worked together to cross a ropes course. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, as you head out the door to get the kids on the bus this morning, a little bit warmer than yesterday, 55, mostly clear skies with a light east breeze. That east breeze gets a little gusty later today, 77 at 3 o'clock and still mostly clear. And that's the trend today. We're going to be sunny all day long with a high of 82 degrees, unseasonably warm to say the least. Now tonight, our low is right about where it should be for this time of year, though. We'll gradually drop back through the 50s, the 60s, the 50s to an overnight low of about 49 with mostly clear skies. As we look at the 7-day forecast, we stay dry, unfortunately, and we stay unseasonably warm as well with temperatures in the 80s. Our overnight lows are about on track, just not the afternoon highs. And then we're looking at rain chances by Tuesday, and on the 10-day forecast, we warm up significantly for October, 91 by next Friday. We're also watching more rain chances, and any rain we can get at this point is beneficial. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, the month of October will bring horror, a Dwayne Johnson blockbuster, and award season contenders to theaters.
Rick Damagella gives us a preview of some of October's biggest movie titles.
So, 2 soldiers and a nurse found ourselves in Amsterdam.
Margot Robbie, John David Washington, and Christian Bale lead an all-star cast in Amsterdam. Set during the 1930s, the mystery comedy from writer-director David O. Russell opens in theaters October 7th.
I was certain that I saw him watching me.
You pretend like you moved on, but you're actually just obsessed with death.
October is high season for horror films, and one of the biggest horror movie franchises reaches a climax with Halloween Ends. Michael Myers simultaneously creeps into theaters and onto the Peacock streaming service October 14th.
Black Adam, we're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender.
Heard about at least 3 killings this afternoon.
I'm not peaceful.
Dwayne Johnson stars as the all-powerful anti-hero Black Adam. The blockbuster action flick also features the superheroics of Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate and Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. Black Adam soars into theaters October 21st.
The lynching of my son has shown me that what happens to any of us, anywhere in the world, had better be the business of us all.
Till stars Danielle Deadweiler as the mother of Emmett Till, the black teenager who was tortured and murdered in Mississippi in 1955. After screening in select theaters earlier in the month, Till opens nationwide October 28th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Certainly some interesting movies coming out. Some good scary movies out there as well, so looking forward to those. But, you know, I've become kind of a fan of Dwayne Johnson lately.
Oh, I've always been a fan.
So, well, okay, I haven't been a fan in that sense by any means, but I've enjoyed some movies he's been in. You know, it's he's not bad at this acting thing.
I'm curious to see how his role and portrayal of Black Adam will be. My kids
it looks
are excited
pretty good
to see
so
it,
far, so
yeah.
I'm kind of excited to see that one. We're going to have another check of your forecast and the latest on Ian coming up. All right, we still have the hurricane warnings, of course, for a good chunk of Florida. Tropical storm warnings outside of that. TV stations in Florida have been wall-to-wall coverage all morning long. This is from our affiliate, Wink TV, in Fort Myers. Hurricane Ian, now a very strong Category 4 hurricane. It winds now at 155 miles an hour sustained. At 157 miles an hour, it becomes a Category 5 storm, which makes it an extremely dangerous situation down in Florida. It's still moving north-northeast at about 9 miles an hour and should make landfall later this afternoon just to the northwest of the Fort Myers area, track across the peninsula as a Category 1 storm, and then re-enter the Atlantic and come back into Georgia and South Carolina as a tropical storm before it finally starts to fall apart, heading on a northerly track. 7th range line, skies look good. We are clear and temperatures a bit more mild than what they were yesterday. 55 Iola, 58 Pittsburgh, 59 in Joplin, Neosho, and 53 down in Grove to start your day. A little bit warmer, of course, for the kids getting on the bus. 56, mostly clear skies this morning with a light east breeze. Light east breeze this afternoon, but it could be gusting up to 20 miles an hour. 77 by 3 o'clock under mostly clear skies. And going through the rest of the day, still unseasonably warm but sunny, 82 degrees for an afternoon high. And as we go through tonight, we stay mostly clear and we'll get to a seasonable low of 49 degrees. So some pretty big temperature swings over the next several days. We stay dry, unfortunately. No rain for the next several days. We also stay unseasonably warm. And then we're looking at rain chances by Tuesday. So we're 80 tomorrow, 84 Friday, 80s into the weekend next week. And overnight lows gradually start to warm up as well. And looking at the 10-day forecast, you can see we're watching increasing rain chances by the end of next week as well. And at this point, any rain we can get to help with the drought situation would be beneficial. We have more of the KOAM Morning News after this.
Coming up, utility electric line crews from the 4 states step up and head down to Florida to help with hurricane relief efforts.
We stay dry, calm here in our area, but as Tanya mentioned, Hurricane Ian, a strong Category 4 storm this morning. We'll have the latest on that and our forecast coming up.
And homes for sale in spite of rising interest rates. One realtor says home sales remain strong in the local Kansas area.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Hurricane Ian, a very dangerous situation for folks in Florida now. So the latest, the latest update, which happened just about 15 minutes ago, has the sustained winds at 155 miles an hour. Ooh. That makes it a strong, very strong Category 4 storm because at 157 miles an hour, it reaches Category 5 strength. Now, at this time, it's not anticipated to do that, but we're only talking a couple mile an hour difference here for it to intensify. It is expected to make landfall, though, at least as a strong Category 4 storm later this afternoon. By 1 o'clock our time, it'll be just off the west coast of Florida, and it will make landfall to the northwest of Fort Myers, travel across the peninsula, re-enter the Atlantic, and then come back ashore as a tropical storm in the Georgia and South Carolina area. So it's a dangerous situation all around down there. Here locally, though, we need rain, and we are not getting any. We are clear at 7th and range line. 56 Joplin, 54 Iola, 59 Parsons, 56 in Miami, and 57 in Neosho as we start the day. Kids getting on the bus, a fair start to the day. Mostly sunny skies, 56 with a light east breeze. Light east breeze this afternoon, but could gust upwards of 20 miles an hour, 77 by 3 o'clock. Going through today, we will again be unseasonably warm, 82 and mostly sunny skies. And heading into tonight, we are looking at mostly clear skies, but a seasonable lows will drop back down eventually to a low of 49 degrees. And for the weekend, unseasonably warm again, and we continue to remain dry. 85 Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, a few more clouds Saturday, and then 86 Sunday and partly cloudy. But we are watching some rain chances next week. They're low right now, but they're there, and we're just hopeful that they'll increase. We're going to take a look at the 7-day forecast, and if anything changes on Ian, of course, we'll have the latest on that as well.
Okay, well, a lot to keep an eye on, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier this week. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman, they handle severe weather forecasting for the entire country. They have mentioned all week that there's really not a lot going on across the lower 48. Their focus is on Ian because right now, lower 48 pretty quiet. There's showers and storms out there, just no severe weather is expected. So, and that's a good thing, though. We don't need any severe weather. We just need some rain, and hopefully we're going to get some soon.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, 4 states' Red Cross workers answered the call to help in Florida on Tuesday. Nearly 100 disaster responders from Missouri and Arkansas lined up to help hurricane relief, with approximately 40 more on standby. Teams consisting of 2 drivers will deploy 4 emergency response vehicles to Florida starting today from Columbia and Jefferson City, Missouri, and Little Rock, Arkansas, and Thursday from St. Louis. Local utility electric line crews from Missouri and Arkansas also make the trip to Florida to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. Line worker crews from 13 utilities are traveling to Orlando, where they will be dispatched to Florida municipal utilities that need electric restoration after the storm passes. The group was organized by the Missouri Public Utility Alliance.
Help restore power. It means pole replacement, new transformer placement, hooking houses back up with electricity, whatever's needed to restore the distribution system of the impacted electric system in that community.
The city of Carthage sent 6 electric linemen. Hurricane Ian is on course to hit Florida after making landfall in Cuba as a destructive and deadly storm. Forecasters say Ian could grow. Ian has already grown into a Category 4 hurricane before it makes landfall somewhere along Florida's southwest coast, which is expected to happen early this afternoon. Kristen Benavides has the details.
As Ian churns towards southwestern Florida, it's already showing its potential for destruction. On Tuesday, it ripped into western Cuba, killing at least 2 people and knocking out power to the entire country. In Key West, flooding soaked the streets, snapped this palm tree in half, and pushed high waters below this home.
This is going to likely make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. There will be catastrophic flooding and life-threatening storm surge on the Gulf Coast region.
Exactly where Ian will crash ashore remains uncertain. Some 2.5 million people in the region were ordered or advised to evacuate ahead of its Florida landfall expected for today.
We always use the adage, you can hide from the wind, but you need to run from that water.
Here in Tampa and across large parts of Florida, people are not only preparing for flooding and winds that could reach 130 miles per hour, but also for widespread power outages. Officials here warn it could take crews days to reach down lines after the storm passes.
Get a generator just in case we do have the hurricane.
Getting some sandbags and maybe some gas cans.
Meanwhile, Ian's outer bands are already likely to blame for spawning several suspected tornadoes that touched down in South Florida, toppling small planes at this Broward County airport. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Tampa, Florida.
Even though President Biden and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis have been at odds lately over border and immigration issues, the White House tweeted last night, quote, President Biden spoke this evening with Governor DeSantis of Florida to discuss the steps the federal government is taking to help Florida prepare for Hurricane Ian. President and the governor are committed to continued close coordination, end quote. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That's the KOAM Skywatch weather app. A local realtor says home sales remain strong despite rising interest rates. Columbus, Kansas realtor Becky McDaniel says a lot of people are looking for homes in the area. She says the situation is becoming more balanced as more homes are now listed as well. She says houses must stay on the market a little longer or they are not selling above the list price. But a lot of people are still buying because of affordable prices. McDaniel says a good amount of people come from outside the state.
For the most part, we've got more new people coming in from other states, I must say, than in recent years, probably in the last 2 years.
McDaniel says Kansas is among the 5 cheapest states to buy a house this year. Coming up a little later in the show, our own Yana Hatula takes us to Columbus for a closer look at the state of housing in the state of Kansas.
All right, our 7-day forecast shows that we stay dry, we stay clear for most of the week. We need rain, it's just not here yet. We'll stay unseasonably warm as well. And then take a look as we head into Tuesday, a slight chance of rain. And then in the first full week of October, we really start to warm up. 91 next Friday, but we're also watching some additional rain chances, and we are certainly hopeful that they will come true because our drought situation is in the exceptional category for a good chunk of southeast Kansas, which is the highest rating for the drought situation or drought conditions that's out there. So we need rain in any form at this point, and hopefully some is on the way next week.
Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Julie Reams from the Carthage Chamber of Commerce is stopping by the studio to tell us all about some big events headed to Carthage, an Oktoberfest, and the return of the Maple Leaf Festival.
Always a good time. Plus, toy maker Mattel releases a line of Barbie dolls that includes different skin tones, body types, and disabilities. And we want to know what you think about these changes to the iconic doll line.
And some good news for melanoma patients as one new study finds a higher survival rate thanks to immunotherapy before targeted therapies. We've got the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
All right, Hurricane Ian, still a very dangerous situation for our friends in Florida right now. We've got hurricane warnings for a good chunk of the Florida Peninsula and tropical storm warnings from Jacksonville down to Miami. I was just doing a check. There's not really a television market in the state of Florida that the stations aren't already in 24-hour coverage mode right now. It's what we call wall-to-wall coverage. This is a feed from Wink TV in Fort Myers, the CBS station there. Right now they're showing some information for power outages, and we've been watching their feed, and we checked the eye of this storm is 30 miles wide, which is just absolutely huge. Within the last 20 minutes, Hurricane Ian upgraded, winds 155 miles an hour now. That's still a Category 4 storm, but at 157 miles an hour, it becomes a Category 5, which is the maximum strength for hurricanes. And as you can see, it is a massive storm set to make landfall later this afternoon. So here's the latest information on Ian as it stands. It's still 155 miles an hour with those maximum sustained winds. It's not including gusts, moving north-northeast at about 9 miles an hour. By 1 o'clock our time, I want to emphasize these times up here are our time, not Eastern time. We're looking at this hurricane to be making landfall just northwest of Fort Myers sometime around 2 o'clock our time this afternoon. It will track across the peninsula and then re-enter the Atlantic and return to the United States around Georgia, South Carolina as a tropical storm. So a very dangerous situation down there. 7th and range line does look good right now across the area. Temperature's not bad either. 56 Joplin, 58 Columbus, 57 Chanute, 55 in the 8th Center. Kids getting on the bus a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. 56, mostly clear skies with a light east breeze. Later this afternoon, light east breeze, but some gusts upwards of 20, 77 at 3 o'clock. And going through the rest of today, still unseasonably warm, 82 degrees for the afternoon high under mostly sunny skies. Mostly clear tonight. Temperatures drop back down to an overnight low of 49. And a look at the 7-day forecast shows where we don't have any rain in sight for the next several days. We stay unseasonably warm, 80 tomorrow, 84 Friday. Then we're watching some rain chances by Tuesday, and we're hoping that those rain chances increase because we are in desperate need of any kind of precipitation. Well, ready for the changing autumn leaves? Scientists say the weather and climate change play a vital role in the colors you'll see this season and years from now. Lauren Green has those details.
You may be ready to fall into fall, but some leaves may not be ready to reveal those vibrant colors loved by leaf peepers across the country. And some experts say climate change could be to blame.
It is projected that we are going to have warmer days and with less rain.
Factors such as temperature, rain, and light are the biggest impact on the seasonal color shift. Warmer temperatures keep leaves green, while colder temperatures signal trees to stop producing chlorophyll, which gives leaves that green hue. The lack of chlorophyll production allows the leaves' natural color to come through, turning trees vibrant shades of red, yellow, and orange.
It's like the mountain is on fire.
Scientists are predicting peak foliage season will fall around the second half of October.
However, it depends on many factors, local weather as well as the natural disturbances.
Experts believe climate change, including changes in weather patterns and fluctuating temperatures, is expected to have a major impact on fall foliage in the future.
The forest in North America is undergoing a massive migration in terms of the species composition, which means that the species that we are going to see around here now is probably going to change in 20, 40 to 60 years.
Scientists say warmer, drier summers like we had this year could mean dull fall foliage. We have breaking news this morning out of Seneca. Our very own Shannon Becker is on the scene of a trailer fire in Seneca, Missouri this morning. And you can see this live right now. We'll have more information on this fire as it becomes available here on the KOAM Morning News and, of course, on the KOAM News at noon and at KOAMNewsNow.com and the KOAM News Now Facebook page. We'll be back with Consumer Watch right after this.
All right, we've now entered my favorite season of the year, fall and Oktoberfest and everything that happens with fall. Julie Reams is here to show us how one four-state community is celebrating that fall season.
Yes, we are ready for the biggest event in the Carthage area, Maple Leaf, 56 years, and we are ready to go. We kick it off with Oktoberfest, which is a huge party in the park at Central Park.
Is this something new, or have you guys done Oktoberfest many years?
Well, this is our second year doing it. Last year was the first year, and it's just grown bigger and better. We have lots of food trucks, kids games, live music all day. Well, it starts at 3 o'clock, and lots of things for families to do and just to come out, have a good time, and eat some really good food. And we have a beer garden going on, and just have fun. Just to kick off Maple Leaf Week.
Right. And where's the Oktoberfest celebration going to be?
It is in Central Park, which is on Garrison Street, where we have Sparkle in the Park at Christmas. It's centrally located within our community, and it's going to be fun for everyone to come out.
Okay, and that's from 3 to 10 coming up on the 8th.
The 8th of October.
Yes.
That really kicks off all of Maple Leaf. We have pageants going on, dog shows, chili cook-offs, lots of things leading up to the big Grand Poobah, which is our Maple Leaf Parade on October 15th.
That's right. And on October 14th, on that Friday, KOAM will be out there live at noon and 5 and 6. So
absolutely.
we'll be out there celebrating with you. You have a lot of Friday events,
We have a lot of Friday events going on. We really kick it off that morning with a chamber coffee, which is to kick off Maple Leaf. We also have our car show Cruise In, which comes back at 5 o'clock. There's Brats on the Square that I think you guys will be a part of, which is a fundraiser for Rotary. And lots of our carnivals going on that night. We have different food vendors out there on Friday night. It's going to be a really fun time to be on the square, and especially to see all the cars that are coming in. That was at Kellogg Lake for the past few years, but we've brought it back to the square, and we couldn't be more excited.
Okay, so you mentioned the parade. That's at 9 a.m. on Saturday, correct?
9 a.m. on Saturday. Rain, shine, sleet, or snow, I tell everyone. So we have record number of entries right now. We're still taking entries until Friday, and then we have vendors, food trucks the rest of the day. Something that we added yesterday that folks won't find in the program is on the square we have a Maple Leaf pumpkin patch that will be on the square close to our Kids Fest zone, and get your pumpkins, gourds, decorate for fall, come out to our festival, buy those things. We're going to do a family hashtag challenge, Maple Leaf pumpkin patch, and post your family pictures and just have a lot of fun. Record number of vendors. We have over 125 different vendors and arts and crafts and food trucks that will be surrounding all four sides of our square. So we're really excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, from what I've experienced, the Maple Leaf Parade is like the longest. It's the biggest parade in the four-state area.
It is. It's big. It's about 2 hours long. We have everything from the bands to our Grand Marshal, which we're really excited about honoring our retired fire chief Roger Williams, and we couldn't be more pleased about that. And everything in between. We have put this out there for months, and now it's all coming to light, and just it wraps up a really good year in our community. And hopefully, they were just talking about the maple leaves changing, so we will see.
It'd be nice to have a cool down, so that'll happen.
Exactly. So whatever the leaves may be, I get calls all the time. When are the leaves going to change? Well, hopefully we'll see that changing by maple leaf.
Yeah, we got till the 15th, so.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, so how long does everything go on Saturday?
Well, obviously the parade kicks off at 9. Vendors usually are set up by 8 a.m. So things will be popping and going all day long till 5 o'clock, till we clear the square and wrap up the weekend. So it's a very long day, but it's well worth it. This brings about 70 to 80,000 people to our community, and to have those kinds of numbers coming in our community, seeing what we have to offer, touring our beautiful square. It's historic. I call our courthouse a castle on the square. It's so beautiful, and to enjoy the richness that we get to experience. There's nothing like it in that parade. 56 years going strong, and we're excited. We're already planning for 2023. We have big vision boards of what we can do that's going to enhance our festival in the years to come.
That's awesome. Okay, so where can people pick up these awesome schedules or find out more information online?
Yeah, it's carthagechamber.com. We just got these. They're hot off the press. We will have these distributed all over Carthage. We also have a QR code that is available if you want to see the digital version. That QR code is available on our social media, on the Carthage Chamber Facebook page, or you can find that information on our website. You can just flip through. There's a flip book that's new that you can just scroll through and see all the activities. Plan your week and have a lot of fun. Come to Carthage for the whole week. We have places to stay, eat, play. It's going to be a fun week. And for those that grew up in Carthage and know what this brings to the community, there's nothing any better. It's the best week ever.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Julie.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
And happy Oktoberfest.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back. Topping Health Watch this morning, doctors at Georgetown University Medical Center found melanoma patients who received immunotherapy before getting targeted therapies saw a 20% higher survival rate over 2 years. Scientists say cancer treatments have improved significantly in the last decade. About 100,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with melanoma every year. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
All right, quick recap. Latest on Hurricane Ian as it approaches the Florida coast. Hurricane warnings in this red color, tropical storm warnings in that other red color. You can see the number of tornado reports since last night. Situation only going to get worse. This is live from Wink TV, the CBS affiliate in Fort Myers. It's a little dark, but you can see that they've had continuing coverage for the last several hours, as has just about every television station in Florida so far this morning, and we're continuing to keep an eye on that. Here's the latest on Ian right now. A massive, strong Category 4 hurricane, winds at 155 miles an hour, sustained. That's 2 miles an hour away from being a Category 5 storm. Now, the track on Ian still has it making landfall as a Category 4 just to the northwest of Fort Myers sometime around 2 o'clock our time, before it traipses across the Florida peninsula, re-enters the Atlantic, and then comes back ashore in Georgia and South Carolina as a tropical storm. Here in our area, things are calmer considerably. It is clear at 7th and Rangeline now. Temperatures warmer than they were yesterday, upwards of 10 to 15 degrees warmer. 56 Yates Center, 57 Columbus, 55 Joplin, 57 Carthage, and 56 down in Neosho. Kids getting on the bus this morning, starting the day warmer as well. 56. Mostly clear with a light east breeze. Light east breeze continues, but could gust upwards of 20. Mostly clear, 77 at 3 o'clock today. And as we go through today, we are going to warm up to another unseasonably warm day, 82 degrees, mostly sunny skies. We're mostly clear going into tonight with an overnight low of 49 degrees. And as we look at the 7-day forecast, we stay dry and we stay unseasonably warm for the rest of the week. 80 tomorrow, 84 Friday, 80s through the weekend into the start of next week. And then we're watching rain chances starting on Tuesday. A low chance, but we're hoping that chance increases. The only thing seasonal for the next few days is our overnight lows in the lower 50s. But then even on the 10-day, more rain chances. But look at these temperatures for October, 91 by next Friday. But we are watching additional rain chances. We're back with more after this.
Coming up, utility electric line crews from the 4 states step up and head down to Florida to help with hurricane relief efforts.
And we are tracking Hurricane Ian, a strong Category 4 hurricane as it moves toward the Florida West Coast. The latest on Ian and our forecast coming up.
And homes for sale in spite of rising interest rates. One realtor says home sales remain strong in the local Kansas area.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:32. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. As we've been mentioning all morning long, tracking Hurricane Ian, our weather here, thankfully, is very calm. We need rain. Don't get me wrong, we absolutely need rain, but at least compared to what Florida's dealing with, it's a lot better. This is a live look from Naples, Florida, as Hurricane Ian approaches the west coast of Florida. Naples just south of Fort Myers, and Hurricane Ian set to make landfall just north of that. Take a look at those waves already as the winds continue to increase across western Florida. Hurricane warnings in effect for a good chunk of the Florida Peninsula, and then we've got tropical storm warnings in that darker red from Jacksonville to Miami, and you can also see all of those tornado reports from just last night. Live coverage from Wink TV, the CBS affiliate in Fort Myers. The stations in Florida in a number of the cities there have been on air for the last several hours straight and will likely continue to be, and we'll continue to monitor their coverage. Hurricane Ian, winds sustained at 155 miles an hour. At 157, it becomes a Category 5 hurricane. Not anticipated to do that, but it is darned close. As it tracks in, it's going to make landfall later this afternoon just to the northwest of Fort Myers, track across the peninsula and into the Georgia and South Carolina coastlines. As mentioned, our weather here considerably calmer. We're clear at 7th and Range Line. Temperatures in the 50s across the area, save 60 in Fredonia, 62 in Independence. Kids getting on the bus this morning, a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. It's going to be 56, mostly clear with a light east breeze. 77, mostly clear at 2 o'clock with the east breeze gusting to possibly 20. We're looking at an afternoon high of 82 today under mostly sunny skies, so still unseasonably warm, but at least a seasonable low temperature, albeit chilly, 49 tonight under mostly clear skies. We'll take a look at our 7-day forecast and, of course, keep an eye on Hurricane Ian as it continues to approach the Florida coast. So, obviously, Florida already being impacted by Ian, but it's not officially on land. It's not official until the eye of the storm makes it on land. So, it hasn't officially made landfall yet, even though they've been dealing with the effects of Ian now for about the last 12 hours or so.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, there's a lot going on down there. They need to stay safe.
And I mean, with those winds sustained at 155 miles an hour, we're talking a sustained wind of that strong, which means gusts pushing well over that, right around the center of this storm. So it is a very strong, very dangerous storm for Florida. And a lot of folks here heading down to help as well.
That's right. We've got more information on that now. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, local utility electric line crews from Missouri and Arkansas are heading to Florida to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. Line worker crews from 13 utilities are traveling to Orlando, where they will be dispatched to Florida municipal utilities that need electric restoration after the storm passes. The group was organized by the Missouri Public Utility Alliance.
One unique factor that helps municipal systems throughout the country is there's a real brotherhood among the electric line workers. And I think inherently in the job that they do, which is a job of service, when you find other systems in jeopardy or with some damage, I think it's just inherent in their DNA to go and assist someone else.
The city of Carthage sent 6 electric linesmen. Well, home loan interest rates are climbing, but KOAM's Yana Hatula spoke with a realtor in Columbus who says home sales there remain strong.
A broker from Columbus, Kansas says interest rates have slowed the housing market, with houses staying on the market longer.
We're not going to get multiple offers on most properties, and it's not going to be, above list price. That's probably the a couple of big changes, over the last year and a half.
Still, she says the market stays busy. There are a great amount of people looking for homes. According to McDaniel, in the past there has not been enough houses for sale. Now, she is seeing the situation becoming more balanced. McDaniel says a good amount of people have recently moved in from out of state because of work and to be in the center of the United States.
For the most part, we've got more new people coming in from other states, I must say, than in recent years, probably in the last 2 years.
She believes the reason for this is still affordable housing prices.
Kansas is number 5 in the cheapest places to buy a home. And I think the median was $151,900 was the price of the home. But of course, in our southeast Kansas, we have homes that, $30,000, they're going to need some work.
A local resident is renovating his house to sell it over market value and expects it to sell fast once they put it up.
Last year, I saw houses up for sale for months on end, and now it's like as soon as they're on the market, they're gone.
He has also noticed people moving in from other states.
Seems like a lot of houses around me have sold recently to people out of town, and it seems like they're coming from larger cities. So it may be something, just cheaper living.
In Columbus, Janna Haudala, KOAM News.
Both McDaniel and Wadino say people in Columbus enjoy their small, close-knit community. Well, this morning we've been discussing diversified Barbie dolls.
Yeah, Mattel brings inclusion to their latest line of Barbie dolls. They're offering Barbie and Ken with a variety of skin tones, body types, and disabilities.
This move by Mattel helps make kids see themselves in a different light. From making kids with vitiligo, a condition that affects the pigment in their skin, feel like they're not alone, to making kids with hearing aids feel seen and heard.
The dolls have more than 175 looks, including dolls in wheelchairs and ones with prosthetic limbs. And that brings us to our question for you today. How do you feel about these new diversified Barbie dolls? You either like them, you don't like them, or you've got no opinions. So far, 47% of you say that you like them. 33% say you don't really have an opinion one way or the other. And 20% of you say you're not a big fan of them. Make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. And our 7-day forecast here locally, we stay unseasonably warm, clear skies all week long. Watching some rain chances by next Tuesday. They're slight, but they're there, and hopefully they increase. We see increasing temperatures as we head into October, 91 next Friday, but we're also watching some additional shower chances. And again, we're just keeping our fingers crossed that we do get slightly higher rain chances as we head into next week. Because as we mentioned, the drought situation is at exceptional, which is the highest rating for drought for a good chunk of southeast Kansas, and that leaves a lot of us also in the extreme drought as well, or severe drought. So it's just a bad situation. We need some rain, and hopefully we have some on the way.
That's right. Well, that's a look at our top news stories and weather coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News as Florida prepares for the coming of Hurricane Ian. Not only have flights been canceled, but the happiest place on earth has also shut its doors. We'll be back. In Consumer Watch this morning, millions of Americans covered by Medicare will pay less next year on monthly premiums for their Part B plan. That covers routine doctor's visits and other outpatient care. President Biden touted the lower Medicare premiums during a Rose Garden speech. With the annual inflation rate at a 4-decade high of more than 8%, the rare 3% decrease in monthly Medicare premiums will bring some welcome relief. It's expected to be coupled with a historically high cost of living increase in Social Security benefits. As Hurricane Ian threatens Florida's Gulf Coast, many flights around the state have been canceled, and Walt Disney World in Orlando is among the businesses temporarily closing its doors for the storm. The company announced its theme parks, including Magic Kingdom Park, Epcot, and others, will be closed today and tomorrow. Disney World is also halting some hotel operations. Flight attendants at United and Southwest Airlines staged demonstrations yesterday at more than 20 airports across the U.S., including Boston, Cleveland, and Baltimore. They're calling for better pay and increased staffing levels. A shortage of airline workers is partly to blame for hundreds of thousands of flight cancellations and delays. The industry is down more than 50,000 workers since the pandemic. That's it for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back.
Hey, take a look at this. Beautiful sunrise at 7th and Rangeline. It is I mean, look at the colors in the sky. I mean, again, it's like we've seen lately. It's almost like a Bob Ross painting this morning. We've got good temperatures to go with it. 55 Joplin, 57 Pittsburgh, 58 Chanute, 61 Fredonia, and 61 in Independence. Kids getting on the bus this morning. A little bit warmer than it was yesterday. 56 at 7 a.m. Mostly clear skies with a light east breeze. As we head into the afternoon, 77 by 3 o'clock. Still mostly clear. Light east breeze, but could be gusting to about 20 miles an hour. As we go through the rest of the day, we remain unseasonably warm, 82. But as you can see, we stay mostly sunny through the day. And heading into tonight, well, you guessed it, we're mostly clear tonight. Temperatures dropping back to a seasonable 49 degrees. And as we look at the 7-day forecast, I want to show you, we go 80 tomorrow, 84 Friday, and we continue to heat up through the weekend. But you can also see partly cloudy, some mostly cloudy skies Saturday. Otherwise, we're still dry. It is not until Tuesday of next week that we're looking at some rain chances, and we're hopeful that these rain chances increase because you can see they're kind of slight right now. We really heat up going into October. We're looking at 91 by next Friday, but we're also looking at some additional rain and thunderstorm chances that they're slight right now, but we are hopeful that they will pick up over the next few days because we desperately need some rain here in the 4 states. We're back with more right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Private First Class Bill Hobbs. The native of South Coffeyville, Oklahoma, served with the Heavy Mortar Company, 35th Infantry Regiment, 7th Infantry Division. To Private First Class Bill Hobbs, we thank you, today's 4-state hero.
All right, we are now ready to celebrate some Wednesday birthdays. We begin in Arma with Callie Dawn O'Banion turning 5. Now, Callie's birthday was actually yesterday, so that means she gets to celebrate all week long, and this comes with love from Mama and the whole family. Happy birthday, Callie.
All right, and Gunnar Harina is celebrating birthday number 13 this year in Frontenac. Happy birthday, Gunnar.
And we've got Thor Bogle turning 13 in Chanute. Very happy birthday to you, Thor.
Right, and Ryder Newton turning 15 years old up in Fort Scott. I don't think he got that one around here. Ryder there holding a red snapper catch. That's pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Very red, too. And we also have Jace Stewart turning 17 in McCune. A very happy birthday for you, Jace. Happy birthday to you.
All right. And Natalie Lewis turns 18 years old this year. Happy birthday to Natalie, with love from Mom, Dad, and the boys in Parsons.
We've also got Karen Jesse turning 44 in Crestline. Karen, a very happy birthday to you.
Oh, happy birthday, Karen. I miss you. All right, and Janet McKenzie celebrating another year wiser in Columbus. Hope it's a great one, Janet.
And we've also got Jeff and Carla Tershner celebrating their 38th wedding anniversary in Hepler, Kansas. Looks like they were having a blast there. Hopefully they make this year another blast as well. Happy anniversary.
All right, and a belated anniversary wish going out to Bill and Mary Franklin, who yesterday celebrated 48 years of wedded bliss there in Girard.
And last but not least, we've got Daniel Prophet celebrating a birthday in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday to you.
All right, if you have a birthday or an anniversary, you can send them to us through email. It's pretty simple. Birthdays with an S at KOAMTV.com.
And while you're at our website, why don't you check out the KOAM Birthday Club? You can sign up, get some great deals from local businesses, and all you need to do is go to KOAMNewsNow.com and sign up for the KOAM News Now Birthday Club. All right, just getting some of the latest information on Hurricane Ian. The Florida Department of Emergency Management is now anticipating that Ian will go Category 5. We're going to get into the details on Ian and its current situation here in just a second. First, we start with the hurricane warnings across a good chunk of the Florida Peninsula. And then in addition, we've got tropical storm warnings from Jacksonville down to Miami. You can also see all of these tornado reports that have come out of Ian just since yesterday. And those are confirmed tornado reports. And of course, the hurricane does bring that threat. This is our affiliate, Wink TV in Fort Myers, the CBS station there. Right now, they're talking about forecasted or possible tropical storm surge in a, as their graphic says, a worst case scenario of 9 feet plus, reaching pretty far into some areas as the hurricane continues to track into Florida. This is where it is right now. We were measuring the eye on the Skywatch storm tracker. The eye on Hurricane Ian is about 30 miles wide, which is just massive in size. The last update had the wind sustained at 155 miles an hour. I was looking at the Florida stations. They're estimating or looking at gusts over 170 to 180 miles an hour with this storm. At 157 miles an hour sustained, that's when it becomes a Category 5. And again, Florida Department of Emergency Management expecting that to happen today. So here's where it is right now. And as it continues to track off north-northeast at about 9 miles an hour, set to make landfall this afternoon just northwest of Fort Myers, track across the Florida Peninsula toward Daytona Beach. Then it re-enters the Atlantic, becomes a tropical storm, and will make landfall again right around the Georgia-South Carolina border, and it will actually continue in its intensity as a tropical depression until it finally gets into western North Carolina, which means a lot of rainfall and a very unpleasant situation for folks in the southeast in addition to Florida. Beautiful sunrise this morning for us, though, at 7th and Rangeline. Temperatures beautiful to go along with it. We have got 56 in Yates Center, 58 Chanute, 59 Parsons, 57 Columbus, and we're starting the day at 55 in Joplin. Getting on the bus this morning, warmer than it was yesterday, about 56, mostly clear with a light east breeze. Light east breeze continues this afternoon, but could gust upwards of about 20 miles an hour, 77 by 3 o'clock. And as we head through today, we are looking at an afternoon high of 82 under mostly sunny skies. And then tonight, we stay mostly clear with a seasonable low of about 49 degrees. Unfortunately, on the 7-day, we stay dry and warm all week long, unseasonably warm at that. Clear skies, seasonable overnight lows, and then we're watching rain chances by Tuesday. It's a slight chance, but it's a chance, and we need any rain that we can get. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Cherokee Nation renews its campaign for representation in Congress by calling on federal lawmakers to honor a treaty the U.S. government made nearly 200 years ago. The tribal nation reasserted its demand that Congress seat its delegate, a right stipulated by the 1835 Treaty of New Echota. Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. tapped Kimberly Teehee as the nation's official representative to Congress. If Teehee were seated, her role would likely be similar to other non-voting members of Congress. A reminder, the voter registration deadline for the November elections is coming up in 3 weeks. In Missouri, the deadline is October 12th. The Oklahoma deadline is October 14th. The Kansas deadline is October 18th. 41-year-old Rex Mills was arrested in 2021 and charged with 5 counts each for sexual exploitation of a child and internet trading in child pornography. In July, he pleaded no contest, which means he accepts his conviction but does not admit guilt. As part of a plea deal, 9 of the 10 charges were dropped. Mills is now charged with sexual exploitation of a child under the age of 14. Pittsburgh's gifted middle school students on Tuesday participated in STEM activities at Greenbush in Girard. 6th and 7th graders were in the lab learning the difference between animal and plant cells. They looked at their own cheek cells under a microscope. 8th graders went outside to learn engineering design and problem solving. They worked together to cross a ropes course. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As we go through the rest of today, we're going to be mostly sunny, 82 degrees, so unseasonably warm, but we will have a seasonable low temperatures. We'll drop back down to 49 degrees. And a quick look at the 7-day forecast. We will head up to 80 degrees for tomorrow, 84 Friday, warming up through the weekend. We stay clear. Unfortunately, we stay dry, and then we're watching some rain chances by Tuesday. They're slight, but they're there, and any rain we can get would be a benefit.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making mini almond dream bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Of course, your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. We've been talking about Hurricane Ian all morning long as it's set to make landfall just northwest of the Fort Myers area and now expected to possibly be a Category 5 storm as it makes landfall. Tampa Fire Rescue Chief Barbara Tripp will share the potential dangers of that storm.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we've got a visit from Lori Lyerla from the Neosho Chamber of Commerce, who's here to tell us about some upcoming events in Neosho, including a job fair and the Neosho Fall Festival.
Plus, we've got more coverage of Hurricane Ian as it bears down on Florida. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it all again today at noon.